Welcome to Doors, a horror game made by the developer LSPLASH. Now, if the name LSPLASH is even a tiny bit familiar to you, that's because he's the one that also made the games like Ragdoll Mayhem, which then became Ragdoll Universe, and Vocab Havoc, aka Wordle but in Roblox. Doors was released on the 10th of August 2022. Indoors, your goal is to survive a randomly generated assortment of rooms separated by, you guessed it, doors. Now you may think, how is a game about doors supposed to be scary? Let me tell you one thing, games about doors are scary. Absolutely terrifying. They will literally make you piss yourself. And this brings me to the inspiration that the creator took for Doors. Spooky's House of Jump Scares. See, I guess that proves my Now, where was I? Oh yeah. As you can see, games about doors can be pretty scary, and this being a Roblox game doesn't take away from the scary factor. Moving on, the environment you traverse is comprised of floors. As recording of this video, there's only one floor in the game, consisting of 100 rooms is... This is the first floor, the hotel. This is the place where you spend most of the time doing your first few hours of gameplay, with those first few hours being mostly dying by the various monsters that reside in this area. You enter the hotel from an elevator in the lobby, where you can go in either solo, with random strangers, or with friends, if you have any. Anyways, the hotel, unlike its name, only resembles itself in a small amount, with it looking more like a manor or a mansion than what it's supposed to resemble. Most of the rooms you'll find are either straight corridors, turns, crossways, and rarely study rooms, workrooms, painting puzzle rooms, and gate rooms. Some of these are more useful than others in many ways, but overall they don't differ too much visually. Midway through your journey through floor 1, you'll find a library. The library is exactly what it sounds like, a place with a lot of books. I'll come back and talk about it more once we reach a certain point in this video. Rooms can also come in different varieties. These include dark rooms. Yep, they don't have lights on. Separate from a room being a dark room, almost every room has two variants of itself. One with a guest room, or multiple guest rooms connected to it, and one without those. Every room that has at least one guest room has a chance to have its door to the next room locked with a key lock. To proceed to the next room, you'll have to find a key somewhere in your current room. This includes the guest room and outside the guest room. This process is made a bit easier in dark rooms, as the key and door will start giving off light after a while of not being found. Then we have gate rooms. Gate rooms require you to flip a switch before you can proceed forward. There are currently two gate room variants on floor 1. The quote-unquote library gate room, not the same one I was talking about before, and the basement gate room. The library gate room spawns with its switch somewhere on the wall in the room. It's not the same case when it comes to the basement room. It requires you to go into a separate room, aka the basement, to find a switch on a wall, same as the library room. Another type of room is the painting puzzle room. This room requires you to swap the position of paintings around so they match their shape, shown with a blue outline on the wall they sit on. The study room and the workroom are both considered safe supply areas, unless they generate as a dark room variant. You can find multiple things in these rooms, such as flashlights, flashlight batteries, lighters, vitamins, and lockpicks. These items can also spawn in any other drawer, but are much more rare. You may also find coins and gold bars in drawers. Currently there's no use for this currency other than getting a small bonus to the main currency, knobs, for gathering these at the end of your run. This about covers floor 1 environment wise. Time to go to the next section. The monsters, the crazy fellas, the weird bunch, the meat of the game. Doors has a very unique cast of enemies, from humanoids to floating tentacle orbs and a few JPEGs. Every character in this game has a unique mechanic that feels engaging and fun, but also terrifying in some cases. In this section, we're going over all of them and explaining their quirks and how to avoid them like a pro gamer. Let's start with the enemies that are the easiest to deal with, or you don't have to worry about at all. One of these is Timothy. Timothy is a tiny spider that spawns randomly in drawers, the chance being roughly 1 out of 200 for every drawer you open. Once found, Timothy will jump on your head and deal you a measly 5 damage, so he is mostly just a scare. But if you're already highly damaged, it's best to avoid opening drawers. Another enemy you don't really have to care about is Jack. Jack is a JPEG that randomly appears either in a wardrobe or rarely behind doors. He doesn't deal a lot of damage. If Jack appears behind a door, the entire next room will have blood red lights and will be covered in what appears to be blood. Next, we have the Speedy Boys, Rush and Ambush. They both work in a very similar way. Whenever you see a light flicker when you enter a new room, you better be prepared to enter a hiding spot. If you start hearing a glitchy sound effect coming from the rooms you went through before, you gotta hide. Rush is coming and will kill anyone he catches along his path. He always travels from the entrance to the room to the exit. So if you find yourself in a room with more than one path, you can stay on the path that is not connected to the exit and will survive. Ambush, on the other half, works slightly different. He's faster than Rush, has a different glitchy sound effect following him. He also emits a green glow. When lights flicker, you can hear if Ambush is coming by a special sound effect he makes when spawning. Keep in mind, to hide from Ambush, you must be in a wardrobe or be very far away from his path and break line of sight. This is only possible in a small amount of rooms. Another trait of Ambush is that he does multiple rounds of charging back and forward until he despawns. And this brings me to an essential enemy in this situation. Say hello to Hyde. Oh wait, he doesn't have a model or anything that shows his appearance. Anyways, Hyde is an enemy that doesn't really do much outside of hindering you when you're in a hiding spot. Staying too long in a hiding spot will anger Hyde, making him forcefully kick you out of your hiding spot. You can probably tell how this can get problematic in terms of Ambush. To avoid Ambush and Hyde at the same time, you have to wait until Ambush passes you and goes back, then exit and re-enter your hiding spot. This will reset Hyde. You have to repeat this until Ambush leaves. Moving on, we have Seek. Seek is one of the harder enemies to figure out for a new player. Seek will announce his presence a couple of rooms before his encounter by making eyes grow out of walls in your room. If you see lights flicker while you're in a room filled with eyes, you don't have to worry about Rush or Ambush. They don't spawn in these circumstances. Once you enter a long hallway with windows on both sides, be prepared to face Seek. When you get close enough to the exit of the room, a chase sequence will start. While running, you have to look for lit up areas to avoid obstacles and find doors you have to go through. The final room of the chase sequence is another long hallway filled with arms reaching through the windows and fallen burning chandeliers. You have to avoid both the arms and the chandeliers if you want to survive. After reaching the end of the last room, you're safe from Seek. You may want to do a celebratory teabag on the funny Cyclops fella. Then we have Screech. Screech spawns in dark rooms around the player, always announcing his presence by making a psst sound. If this happens while you're in a dark room, or shortly after leaving one, look around yourself and look him dead in the eye. This will scare him away. Screech spawns less often if you're holding a lit up light source, such as a flashlight or a lighter. Up next, Halt! Halt is another enemy that newer players deem hard. Halt, like Jack, has a random chance to appear behind a door. Finding Halt instantly teleports all players to the room containing Halt. While in Halt's room, you have to move forward through the hallway, but this is not always possible. Every once in a while, Halt will appear in front of you. As soon as this happens, you have to turn around and walk to the opposite direction. Once he appears in front of you again, turn around again and repeat until you get to the end. And here's a little tip. You know if Halt is spawning in front of you if your screen blinks with a wall of text saying turn around and you hear a brief static noise. Eyes are another JPEG enemy. They, like Halt and Jack, can randomly appear behind a door. When they spawn, you have a brief time period in which you have to turn away from them. Looking at eyes deals major damage per second while viewing them. Eyes will only disappear from a room after opening the door to the next room. Glitch is one of the two enemies that don't appear randomly. When playing with multiple people, staying too far behind from the rest of the group will trigger Glitch. He will jump scare you, dealing medium damage and instantly teleporting you back to the group. Our last enemy is Figure. Figure is counted as both the mini-boss and the boss of the first floor. Figure is a blind enemy, meaning he can only hear and not see. Crouch around to not bring attention to yourself. If the figure goes too close to you while you're hiding in a wardrobe, it will start the heartbeat minigame. You have to press Q and E respectively to the rhythm of the heartbeat to avoid getting killed. You first encounter Figure in room 50, the library. To survive Figure, you have to collect books randomly sticking out of shelves in the room. These books also make a shimmering sound when near. Using the paper located at the main desk in the library, you will get 5 shapes in an order from 1 to 5. Every book you find has an assigned shape and number. Use the information you find to unlock the door to the next room, located at the opposite end from the entrance. After level 50, the game becomes harder, spawning enemies more often, dark rooms are more common, and everything is out to get you. Room 100 is the final room of floor 1, the hotel. Its visual style is greatly different from all the other rooms, as it's more industrial and modern. You can begin the final challenge by pulling the lever next to the big sliding door in the back of the room. The figure will jump out from the doorway. You have to hide in the wardrobes in the previous room to survive. Also, if you want to know a better way to do this part, stick around till the end of the video. Once your coast is clear, climb up the stairs in room 100 and go to the powered down elevator, grabbing the key from the inside. Go back down the stairs and into the electrical room. The figure can't enter this room, so you don't have to worry. The electrical puzzle is quite simple. Look at the top. The display will show numbers and a state of either on and off in a sequence. After it goes through all numbers, it will check if you correctly mimicked the values it showed you on the panel above. You have to complete those combinations 3 times to finish the puzzle. After that, go back up into the elevator and enjoy your win. This game gave me a blast, and I can't wait for future updates. Gameplay is solid, mechanics somewhat fresh and fun, execution and art style is amazing. Good game for a night with friends. Although the game is fun as it is, I feel like there's too little for people who want a real challenge. The game gets easy after a few playthroughs. A hard mode where enemies are even more common and more aggressive would be gladly appreciated. Letting the player customize the difficulty would be even better. Something like FNAF does, with a number value between 0 and 20 for each monster. Now, here are some more tips from me at the end of this video. Seek is a time saver, letting you skip around 5 to 10 rooms. It really helps with avoiding other encounters, especially in the last 20 rooms. Also, if you stand in the middle of a double doorway in level 100, then pull the lever, you can skim past the figure and go instantly upstairs without having to go through the heartbeat minigame. Thank you for watching this whole video. It really means a lot, especially since I worked for it for more than 6 hours in the middle of the night. If you enjoy my content, or even if you don't, leave a comment below. I'll read both compliments and critiques. See ya!